Come on, guys, you were winning me over. I was in love with this rifle, and then you loosened up on me like... All right, everybody, we've got to give some love not only to the Patreons. I thank you so much for everything you do for the channel, but to the sponsor of today's video, which is Hidden Hybrid Holsters. If you are looking for a comfortable holster to wear all day that has that sweet, sweet suede backed leather and a Kydex front, make sure you check out Hidden Hybrid Holsters. All right, everybody, if you like seeing new stuff like the PSA Forged Sabre line, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's gonna do a couple of things for you. First off, it's gonna make sure you don't miss any content when it drops. And second, it's gonna signal to YouTube to push this video in the algorithm so other people, maybe some of which who have never seen gun or 2A content before, will get a chance to see it and maybe help change some minds. So subscribe to the channel, and if you think you're already subscribed, give me that discount double check to make sure you still are. All right, so the PSA Forged Sabre. Now this is the version with the Geiselle rail and some different stuff. They've got a bunch of different versions out there. I will make sure that everything you see here today is linked at the build list, which will be the first link in the description below. Honestly, I am super impressed. All right, right as I say I'm super impressed, we stop filming and I go to put the rifle away, and I immediately notice a problem when I grab the rail and grab the lower. That Geiselle rail is twisting, which that Geiselle rail should not be able to twist at all. And I look down and I bust out my set of wrenches here, and I notice that the back bolt is at least a turn and a quarter out, and it looks like the front one is about a quarter turn out, and then both the set screws for anti-rotation here are multiple turns out, causing that rail to loosen up. So that kind of sucks, right? But it's still an awesome rifle the way that it comes. The issue here is that's a QC thing. So it's something I will fix very easily. I'll put some Loctite on there, because I can tell you right now on the back side, the reason that came loose is because it wasn't Loctited. And once that started slopping around, that caused these to push out a little bit. So I will fix that. It's quick and it's easy, but nobody gets a free pass on the channel. And if I discover an issue, I will always bring it to your guys' attention. But that is the one issue with the rifle itself that I did run into out there on the range today. With the PSA Forged Sabre line. I haven't shot the billet line yet, the ambi billet line, but this thing, it has performed absolutely great. Ran about 270, maybe 300 rounds for this thing today, judging on the magazines that are empty. Overall, the feel of the rifle is great. The furniture, great. The trigger in this thing, they put a hyperfire EDT, absolutely awesome. One of my favorite kind of budget-friendly triggers out there. The feel of the rifle is outstanding. Everything from transition drills to the recoil impulse on this thing, it absolutely shoots super flat once you get that thing into the shoulder. I'll roll in some slow motion footage for you so you can kind of see how that thing runs, but outstanding. Didn't have a single hiccup. Actually, I had one hiccup, and that was a bad round, which is still in my pocket right now. Cheap Turkish ammo, because I'm gonna check it out later and see what was wrong with it, because it's a fresh ammo sponsor and I wanna make sure that ammo is gonna be good to go. But other than that, out here I ran all the basic drills I like to run: transition drills, build drills, magazine exchanges, all that good stuff. A little bit more moving because I got a camera guy. Camera guy, say hi. Hola. He says hola. Make sure you let me know in the comments how you think camera guy is doing. But overall, super impressed. Now, one of the things we have got to talk about, obviously, besides how this thing performs on the range, is what this comes with, because it's a true gem at the price point. So let's start from the buttstock to the business end here. We're gonna have Magpul furniture on this one. This is the SLS when it comes to the stock and the grip right here, which are probably my second favorite furniture out there. Great stuff. Carbine buffer, carbine spring in here, Radian Raptor charging handle, Radian safety in there, which is ambi. You can set it up at a 45 or a 90, completely up to you. Standard kind of mil-spec lower, but you are gonna have a hyperfire EDT trigger, which is prime for the price point, and that actually has the lighter springs in it. which is nice because you still get the reliability of a mil-spec trigger, but you get the performance of a better trigger by far. And I've used that hyperfire a bunch, and it is really one of my favorites if you don't want a cassette drop-in style trigger. The bolt and carrier group in there is absolutely solid. So the bolt and carrier group in here is the Micro Best PSA Founding Fathers bolt, which is going to be solid because it's got the Carpenter 158 steel on the bolt, which is what you really want. I couldn't find what the carrier is made out of. It's either 9310 or 8620, one of the two on that. Moving forward, you're going to have the Geiselle Mark 14 rail, which is one of the most solid rails in the business. It has integrated QD points that are steel, so you don't destroy your rail. Overall, just one of the most proven things out there in the market. Underneath that, you've got a true gem. You have a cold hammer forged FN barrel. So at this price point, that is something that is definitely very nice to have. It's going to be a 1 in 7 twist rate. And overall, out of this, you can't really ask for much better than a cold hammer forged barrel on this setup here, which is the 13.9 pin and welded, tapped off with the Jmac Keymo Mount here. And since it has a Keymo mount, we of course did run it with this seed suppressor with a Keymo adapter, which I'll give you a little taste of right now. Jmac Keymo Mount, and they're going to run it with this siege suppressor that I've been working with. Of course, on a Keymo mount. Smoking! The can sounds good. Really good. Ejection pattern looked about right here, which is pretty much what I would expect for a non-tuned AR with a fresh can on it. And to wrap up the business end out here is going to be a pinned gas block. So that's going to give you that ultimate in reliability and durability, and is a very nice touch when it comes, especially at this price point. And then if any of you are wondering, the upper and lower receiver here are forged 70-75, which is the good stuff. So overall, as you can see, just very nicely outfitted for the price. Now, talking about what I have put on this, I'm testing out that new Holosun SCRS. This is the kind of internal battery, solar powered setup. And I have to say, it's actually really nice from the way that it mounts on there with their mount, and just the overall size factor of it is really cool. Running some Factor, barricade, and hand stops up here, which are two of my favorites because you can lock your hand in and you still get a barricade stop. Unity hot button right there. I've got my Surefire scout light, and overall that is about it. And then a Patriot CNC cable hider right there. So overall, I wanted to run it kind of slick, kind of smooth like this because it is a fairly lightweight rifle. But even though it is that lightweight, it just outright performs kind of out of its price range. All right, guys, that is what I have for you today on the new PSA Sabre forged line with the Geiselle rail and the cold hammer forged FN barrel, which is pretty unbeatable for the price point. Now, this is the first PSA rifle I have actually personally owned, and I have to say, I'm impressed with it, especially for the price point that it comes out in, and I'm a big fan of this. I'm gonna keep running it. I will give it a well over 1,000 review where I get a couple thousand rounds through it, and I report that back to you. But for the time being, keep doing it on the range. Remember, if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready, and I will see you all on the next one. Come on, guys, you were winning me over. I was in love with this rifle, and then you loosened up on me like a dirty
real hooker, and I'm gonna slap you in public.
It's not been my month or two, so yeah. All right, man.